Hi everyone, and welcome to my webinar, my top 3 ways on how to eliminate money blocks. I'm really excited for you to be here with me today, and I hope everybody has managed to join us okay. I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes and make sure everybody gets on the call okay. So just while we're waiting, I have to say I'm a little bit jet lagged this morning. I got up at 3:30 a.m. and I only got back from my trip to Paris and Scotland not last night but the night before. So I'm a little bit all over the place, but I am ready and excited to share with you all about money blocks and how to overcome them. So without any further ado, I'm just going to get started. So I want to just tell you a little bit more about my story, where I've come from, and how I've overcome my money blocks, and how you can overcome yours too. I haven't always been a coach. I used to actually be a corporate accountant. I worked for 13 years in the finance industry as an accountant. I was very successful in my career. I was very lucky as well. I First of all, I studied accountancy at university. I then went on to become a chartered accountant in Scotland. After that, I actually moved to Bermuda, where I worked for KPMG for 2 years. And that's when I discovered the insurance industry and became a reinsurance specialist. After 2 years with KPMG, I was lucky enough to move out of practice and into working for a reinsurance company. That reinsurance company was probably my first real experience of earning really good money and wealth. Like, I thought originally when I started at KPMG, I was earning good money, but I quickly realized that it didn't go as far as I thought it was going to. But when I got into that, the next insurance company, I suddenly realized what my earning potential was, and I was really lucky to earn some good money. But the belief I had behind that was that, well, no wonder I'd studied for 7 years, I had years experience, I worked really hard, and I never really had to ask for any of the money I was given. My contract had been negotiated by a recruitment agent. My big increases had just come straight from the company. They called me in one day and offered me a big pay increase. I never really had to ask for money. It was always just kind of given to me, and I felt like I earned it, and that was okay. I was also lucky enough in that position to sort of seem like just attract more and more money. We went into after the GFC hit, our company was actually closing down. So I ended up, I was on a retainer package, and then I got made redundant. So I was very, very lucky. But I also knew, or something inside of me made the decision that all this luck was temporary, and that I could only have it for those years when I lived in Bermuda. And I knew I was lucky, living this amazing lifestyle, not thinking twice about flying up to New York for the weekend and spending $5,000 and barely even noticing. But I knew that it was temporary. It all seemed too good to be true. This girl from a little town in Scotland suddenly earning all this money, and it did just seem too good to be true. So when I left Bermuda, a lot of people get stuck there because they're earning such good money, and they have that belief that if they leave, they'll never be able to earn such good money again. And but Bermuda wasn't somewhere I could live for a long, long time, and I knew I had to leave. But deep inside me, I'd made the decision that I would never earn as much money again. It just wasn't possible, and that was as good as it was going to ever get. So, right, it was fantastic, and went to traveled the world, and then finally moved to Australia. In Australia, to get a good job, but I also didn't believe it wasn't possible. It me that it was really difficult to get a sponsored visa. It was difficult to get a good paying job, but I didn't have a plan B, and I guess I decided it was going to happen no matter what. But as I said, I didn't expect to ever make the same money as I had in Bermuda again, and no surprise, I got exactly what I thought I was going to, and that was not quite the same amount of money. When they asked me in my interview what my salary expectations were, I said they were unrealistic. So I certainly set my own expectations, and funnily enough, got exactly what I expected. So after quitting my job as a corporate accountant, I thought that maybe working for myself, I might be able to maybe replace my corporate salary if I was lucky. I definitely didn't think it would happen within the first year or maybe the first 5 years, but I was miserable enough and decided to take the leap anyway. But I think it's those kind of beliefs about where you think your business could go and what you believe your potential might be is so limiting. But as an accountant, I didn't know any other way or how to have any other expectations apart from I had to earn the money somehow. So luckily for me, though, it wasn't long after I did quit my corporate job that I did stumbled across wealth consciousness. As an accountant, though, money is debits and credits. It just is. It's happened in the past. It balances. It has nothing to do with energy. Nothing whatsoever. You create a set of accounts. You have them audited, and that's just the way it is. You look for mistakes, and it's either right or wrong. So when I was introduced to wealth consciousness and even the notion that money might have something to do with energy or a story, or that you could attract more or less by changing your own perceptions and beliefs, seemed totally an alien concept to me. I really actually struggled to get my head round that fact. And it wasn't until I really started digging into what my money story was and the fact that maybe I did have some money beliefs that it suddenly all started falling into place. And I actually became so interested in this subject because it gave a whole new aspect to something that I had taken for granted for so long and had really assumed that I knew all about as a finance professional. But what is your money story, and what the heck is wealth consciousness? Your money story is basically everything that you've learned your whole life about money. And as children and as we're growing up, everything we know, see, hear, and believe is a creation of either what we're taught, what we're shown, what our parents or family members model for us. Where else could we get our expectations of the universe and our beliefs and our values? So depending what kind of family you come from, and your mother and your father will have a different story, you get a set of beliefs about how the world is and what money looks like. So, for instance, if you have one parent that comes from wealth and another that comes from poverty, they might have very different spending habits. And your parents were very likely to have something that they say over and over again, especially in their habits and how they deal with money. Maybe making money is hard. Maybe it's always a struggle. Maybe they can't afford it this year. Maybe we'll go on holiday next year. Maybe maybe we won't go on holiday at all. Maybe you never got the designer sports gear when you went to school. I certainly didn't. That was something we couldn't afford. I never had designer anything, and all the kids seem around me seem to, and I still believe that somewhere maybe that designer stuff just isn't for me. But it just, we're all different, and we all have had different beliefs when we were growing up. From when I started saving my pocket money, I realized that it actually built up really quickly, and I could buy even better things if I was really careful and saved my money. So it just depends where you learn it from and which elements you pick up. When we are aged between 0 and 7 years old, it's called our imprint stage. And this is where we learn all of our values and beliefs from events and our parents. From ages 8 to 13 is our, what's it called? Oh my goodness, imprint. Oh, I'm having a complete mental blank. Is our modeling stage, sorry. And from 13 to 21 is our socialization stage. So if we're aged 18 to 13 and things happen, we are generally modeling our family and our parents, and no wonder that's where we pick up our story about money. So how does this affect you now, and how can we change it? So everybody has a sort of frequency and a money comfort zone. So they have an area in their lives where there's either, if there's too little money, they feel uncomfortable, and also when there's too much money, they can feel uncomfortable. So most people end up right in the middle somewhere. They don't have to worry about it too much. They usually have just enough, but they might not have more than their comfort zone. So we have to make sure that our comfort zone isn't limiting us too much when it comes to money. When we start pushing the boundaries and continuing to push them, that's when the real growth comes, and that's when amazing things can happen with your money story. So just to backtrack a little bit, and also just to let you know that a little bit later today, if this is something you want to know more about, I'm going to introduce you to a way that you can really overcome this. When I continued on my road of discovery about money, I attended a Tony Robbins course called Life and Wealth Mastery. And again, coming from an accountant background, I wasn't too excited about the wealth mastery element. I was really excited about the life element and learning all about the health and wellness aspects that he teaches. But I was totally blown away by his wealth consciousness and all of the wealth mastery that he taught us there. And one of the stories he tells, which is a really beautiful way to show this comfort zone where people tend to stay, is he uses the example of the boxer Evander Holyfield, Floyd Mayweather, that's the guy. And he goes and he wins these fights, and he earns hundreds of millions of dollars. I think it's something like $100 million per fight. But this guy, his comfort zone, that is way out of his comfort zone, and he is not comfortable earning that kind of money. So what he does is he basically goes out and blows it every single time he wins it. He goes to Vegas with backpacks full of cash and just blows it. He gives it away, he spends it. His wealth consciousness is zero. He doesn't believe at his core that he deserves it or that he's worth it. And until he changes those parameters, every single time he fights, he's going to get rid of his money because he doesn't feel conscious, he doesn't feel comfortable with it, and that's not where his wealth consciousness sits. So, and that's a very extreme example, but it's actually, we all do something very similar. When I did finish in Bermuda, I went to Australia and believed I would never earn as much money again and that Australia was expensive. I somehow managed to spend everything I earned because I believed it was so expensive and that I had to almost. And it's a funny sort of pattern, but at the time I didn't realize what I was doing, and I didn't realize that I was even in a pattern, or that it was just a story I was telling myself. But whatever your story is, you will either find a way to spend the money or find a way to make the money. But one good thing is that I will mention is that because of this comfort zone, when you do hit that real bottom part of it, you will automatically, your vibration will change and you will not let yourself fall out of the bottom of your comfort zone. So some people will let their bank accounts get to almost zero, like maybe $10, but then that thing kicks in, something kicks in, and they know that they can't have less than that ever in their bank account. So something does kick in. So you tend to sort of then stay in this comfort zone. But then if they're earning too much money, out of the blue, bills and also and random expenses come out of the blue, so you end up losing all your money. What does this mean? So the comfort zone basically will cause us to potentially self-sabotage one way or the other. If you're earning too much, we'll spend more money, or we'll stop attracting clients, or we'll start undercharging or repelling clients. So it allows us to just, again, stay in the zone, stay in the zone. So I'm all about living outside of my comfort zone, and I've done it for as long as I can live. But I don't want to drop off the bottom of my money comfort zone either. But where else do some of these money blocks and limiting beliefs come from? So in business, and this is something I've noticed recently, is people have a lot of fears around their business, and it causes them to actually block their success. And sometimes it's because they actually fear success. Some people fear failure, some people fear judgment, and all these fears build up and actually stop us moving forward in our business. They tend to send us into a bit of a spin. We go into avoidance mode, procrastinating, and everybody has a sort of behavior that they tend to go to when they're avoiding things and procrastinating. A lot of people, it's emotional eating. For some people, it's drinking, drugs, social media addictions, destructive behavior. And it can really, all these behaviors are really your subconscious trying to protect you from the painful aspect that they believe is going to happen from those fears. So the negative procrastination is actually your body trying to protect you in a way. So what happens is all of these negative emotions and beliefs have caused this procrastination, and then that leads to more and more problems. Especially especially with emotional eating, it can lead to weight gain and lack of self-worth and more judgment and not wanting to be visible, which again leads to blocks in your business. Sometimes we believe that we don't have enough time for new clients. This is a great one. So I have some clients who believe that, well, ultimately what they want is more time with their families or more time and more freedom to enjoy themselves. And they're ultimately actually manifesting that too quickly. So their subconscious thinks they want more time. So what do they get? They get 0 clients, so they have all the time in the world. So that was one of my problems when I first started, was I didn't think I had enough time for new clients. And then there's all the beliefs about not feeling worth it, not feeling like you deserve it, or maybe feeling like a fraud, especially if you're a new coach or a new health coach, or depending what you're doing in your business. If you don't feel like you know everything, or even if you are totally qualified, you can still feel like a fraud. All of these feelings, the lack of time, not feeling like you deserve it, not feeling like you're worth it, they all cause you to be stuck on this negative frequency. And the negative frequency literally will repel clients. When I've felt any of these feelings, I will literally have clients cancel on me at the last minute. And I had 2 discovery calls cancel on me within 5 minutes, but I knew it was just down to my negative energy. So what else do we believe about money? And it becomes like a really twisted kind of emotion, like you want it but you don't want it, you're sabotaging yourself, you know you need it to survive, and we just get caught up in this horrible sort of spin. And I want everybody to be able to feel completely confident about their money, to feel good about their money, to feel good about charging their worth, and to feel good about the energy they're giving out, and to be able to just attract more clients and to attract their worth. So to overcome all these issues, the money story, the blocks, the strange comfort zone we've trapped ourselves in, the fears of judgment, I discovered EFT, and I think it is the most incredible tool for clearing all of these money blocks. But what are the steps you need to take to do it? So number 1 step, which I want to tell you about today, is identifying your money blocks. I've talked a lot about what they could be, but until you actually know yourself what your money blocks are, how can you work to try and resolve them? So the 3 main ways to identify them and to know what they are, which I absolutely love. The first one are tail enders. That's the bit at the end of any of your affirmations or visualizations or whatever you say to yourself, or your goals. For instance, I easily and effortlessly make $100,000 a year. And then something inside of you is going, oh, I don't think so. Not you. No, that's not possible. Why do you think you can earn that? It's that doubt, it's niggling doubt inside you that will always undermine your best efforts and just self-sabotage you every step of the way. Because if you don't actually believe you can make that kind of money, you never will make that kind of money. It's that simple. Like, you have to believe it, have faith, have trust to be absolutely convinced that you can make that kind of money. There's just no 2 ways about it. If you don't believe it, you can't do it. And until you resolve those little, oh, I don't think so, not you, how could you do it? Maybe it's for everybody else. Until you start figuring out what you are saying to yourself, then it's very difficult to resolve it. So it's trying to be really aware of those things and really noticing when you say those words how you feel, and being aware of that, what it's what it's what it's making you feel inside of your body. And once you become more aware of those tail enders and the things you're saying to yourself, that gives you a key on what you can tap on. Another one that's really great is sort of to determine your comfort zone. So this is one that I really love. So you can say I easily and effortlessly see myself when you have that feeling and you notice it, you have to be really careful about what that reminds you of. What what other things make you feel like that? When was a time in your past or that you also felt like that? And to just try and unravel and see where some of these feelings or beliefs maybe came from, and just be really, really clear on that. The third one is, it's called clearing your money matrix. It's to be, it really helps you determine what your current relationship with money is. So this is something I'd actually like to work through with you right now. So I'd like you to take 3 deep breaths and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine a room. It's a square room and it's comfortably furnished. And in that room, there's money. And I want you to just notice the money. Where is the money? Where is it in relation to you? Where is money in relation to the other furniture in the room? Where is the money in relation to the rest of the room? How easy or hard is it for you to be able to hold the money, use money? What are your feelings in that room with the money? What do you notice in your body? Is there anybody else in the room with you? And when you have that picture in your mind, just notice how it feels and maybe take some notes. Just be very aware about how you feel about the money, what you can see and what you notice. All of these things are going to be really key in determining how you feel about money and your relationship to it. Your money matrix and how you feel about it is actually coded directly into the cells of your body. And when you notice how you feel in that room with the money, you'll really figure out what your frequency with the money is. And that is the key of where you need to start tapping. Was it easy? Was the money hiding? Was the money behind glass doors? Was the money dirty? Was the money in a box? Was there just a little bit of money? Did you feel guilty about the money? Did you feel judged by anyone about the money? Did you feel like you shouldn't be there? Did you feel like the money wasn't for you? Did you feel like you were stealing the money? What did you notice when you were in that room? What were your feelings about the money? And then really be aware of your body and how you felt. And that is exactly where you need to start. Once you identify that, whatever that is, I want you to write it down. I want you to write down how you felt, what you noticed, who else was there, and also anything else that comes up, any thoughts, memories, or emotions from your past. Where have you heard that before about money? If you felt judged in that room, where else have you felt judged about money in your life before? Was it a family member? Was it a friend? Was it an old work colleague? If you felt like you were stealing the money, have you ever felt like that before? Did you feel like you didn't deserve it? And does that bring up any memories? This is where you need to write, journal. What's my money story? Where has it come from? What have I learned about money? How do I feel about money? What do I know about money? What do I think I know about money? All of these things, just get them out, write them down, journal it. And as that awareness becomes your reality, you can begin to let it go and begin to create a freedom and begin to see the other side. So by writing all this out, you're starting that process and really getting to the point where there's an acceptance, because so many people don't actually believe that they have a problem with money. They don't even know that it is a consideration. So once you manage to write everything out, and really it's almost like a cathartic process by just getting the story out, get it out on paper. So once you have that, you know your feelings, you've noted down your tail enders, you've done the little experiment to determine your comfort zone by going up in $10,000 increments. So you know roughly where your comfort zone's at, you know what you're telling yourself, you know how you're talking yourself out of money, and now you know how you feel in a room of money, you know what your money matrix is. And you're beginning to unravel what your money story is and where it's come from. This is the key. It's the absolute secret to figuring all this out and to taking the lid off this dirty belief that money is evil or bad or whatever you've been telling yourself. So the next step, that's number one. So now we've identified what our money story is, we've written it down, and we're feeling much better about it already because we've actually taken that first step to identify what the heck is going on and what our money stories are. The second step is to clear it. So it's about letting go and releasing it so as you can actually align yourself with a really good positive energy. Enough of all this negativity, enough of repelling clients with your negative attitude. It's time to clear and let it go. So the absolute number one way of doing this, I've heard of people just talking it through and saying they release it and really feeling that it's going. The next best way to do this, for sure, is by tapping. EFT is an incredibly powerful way to release money blocks, and especially now we know exactly what our money blocks are, EFT is the key for doing that. And if you're not quite sure how to do it, we don't have time on the call today, but there are lots and lots of resources out there that you can start to learn to uncover how to do it, and also by taking the step-by-step process that we're outlining here today. So that's number 2, just clear. Number 3 is to rewrite your money story. What do you want it to be? What do you want your money story to be? What do you want your feelings around money to be? How do you want to feel when you think about money? Do you want complete financial freedom? Do you believe it's possible? We have to start rewriting our beliefs, what we know can be true, what we know we deserve, and what we really can have in our lives. And to do that, we have to dream bigger, think bigger, and really truly believe that we can have exactly what we want and desire in our lives. And so often it feels totally unachievable. It's so hard to align your desires with what you believe is actually possible, and you don't think it can actually happen. But this is when we get in the way of our own success. So I believe that the universe has magical powers and actually does help us on our way, but we have to do our part. So all we have to do, and it's really simple, we have to figure out what we want. So as the universe knows what it's aiming for and helping us get. Then the second part is then taking steps towards it, because it's not going to be able to help us and make the stars align for us and have these amazing opportunities come up if we're not taking steps forward to fulfill our part of the bargain. So by rewriting this story and really getting in connection with our desires and our needs and our wants, it becomes a much more fun, exciting, and interesting process where we can actually enjoy money and enjoy thinking about it and get excited about it instead of being scared of it. Because as soon as we're scared of it and that negativity is going on, it just is not going to be coming into our lives. So how do you rewrite your money story? Well, it's about really connecting with what you want. It's not about what you think you could have if you work 60 hours a week for the next year. You don't have to know exactly how you're going to get the money or where it's going to come from, but just allow yourself to dream big and to then create mantras and affirmations around it. For example, I see myself making X thousand dollars from 5 new one-on-one clients in the next month. And I will make this money by offering amazing coaching, beautiful packages, and changing people's lives. Getting those kind of really strong affirmations into your daily routine. I'm abundant, I deserve money, money flows to me and through me. And you really start changing up your language around money. It can become incredibly powerful. When you switch your language and you've cleared your blocks, and then you've really starting to embed these new positive affirmations into your life, your whole energy system around money shifts and changes. And making money starts feeling really good, and it starts feeling like it's flowing and really in this positive, beautiful space. It's all about making money. I think we forget sometimes that it's about who we can serve. And if we don't clear some of these money blocks, all it means is we can't help more people and we can't serve more people. And really, sometimes when I don't want to start thinking about money, I start thinking about who can I help and who else needs my help and who needs my help in clearing their money blocks or limiting beliefs, or who can I help feel better today? Who, trying to get that kind of thought process is much more positive and much more effective than, oh God, I don't have any money. How am I going to pay the bills? Oh no, no. And getting into this huge spin of negativity. So I've covered my top 3 ways to clear your money blocks. Number 1 is to identify what those money blocks are. And I gave you 3 top ways to identify what those money blocks were. The first one was the tail enders, the I don't think so, it's not for me, why me, I don't deserve it. So what is that negative self-talk, that repetitive cycle that's going on? What are you tripping yourself up with every time? The second one was to identify what your comfort zone is. By making that statement and increasing it by $10,000 at a time. I see myself making X amount of money this year. When that starts to get uncomfortable, then you know you've hit your comfort zone and you need to clear it and up that limit. You don't have to up it from 50,000 to 3 million tomorrow, but maybe it just goes from 50 to 70 to 100, just slow increments, and that seems achievable, and you can get there without your comfort zone feeling like it's exploding all in one go. So increments, but if we don't let it shift and don't consciously move it ourselves, then we will literally be stuck in that box forever. And if we have more money, we're going to be blowing it at the casino. So let us not do that. And the third one was clearing your money matrix. That was when I got you to imagine what it was like when you imagined yourself in the room with money. What did it feel like? What did you notice? When have you felt those feelings before? And really start to join the dot and make the connections between your feelings and your real gut feelings in your body about money. So they're my top tips, and it all sounds super simple, but when you actually start trying to do it yourself, it can become a little bit overwhelming and a bit harder to achieve and to really get your thought processes working properly. So because I'm so passionate about this subject, I've decided to create a 6-week telecourse solely focusing on money blocks. I think it's such a huge area to explore and to overcome all these issues that it really lends itself beautifully to a course talking only about money blocks and absolutely busting them out of the park. So I have developed this course 6 weeks, and each week you work through a module, find out a bit more about your money story, where it's come from, work through the steps, and then we actually go in and start tapping about it. Really working together on group calls like this, and we have live Q&A and live tapping sessions together, so we can really help work through the blocks together, support each other, and really overcome the limiting beliefs and the blocks and really rewrite that story. And to physically sit and rewrite it is incredibly powerful. It's one of these things that people talk about doing, but they never actually physically get around to do it. And also it's a bit like goal setting. If you don't physically write it down, it doesn't happen. So this course is so powerful when you actually put pen to paper, you write it down, you're held accountable, and then you physically tap out negative blocks and emotions that have been holding on in your subconscious. Until we physically unblock those pieces of the puzzle, we will constantly be held in this comfort zone. And sometimes the comfort zone, when you're at that bottom edge, doesn't feel very comfortable at all. We are all here because we want to live a life of freedom, of fun, travel, luxury. Sometimes it's just so as you don't have to answer to anyone, especially your old boss. That's been always been a big driving force for me. That and knowing I have the freedom to travel, and now I can live and work from anywhere I choose, and spend more time with my family, and really live this life that I didn't think was possible not very long ago. But I was caught in that space and I was just spinning. I was putting all my stuff out there and my energy was all off and I was feeling negative. I was getting desperate. I was getting really scared. And I was looking at everybody else and I was thinking, why have they got it figured out? Why can't I do it? When's it my time? Are they better than me? Why can't I figure this out? So when I finally figured out that money blocks was one of the only thing holding me back, I couldn't quite believe how simple it was. I found myself a money blocks coach. We worked through my stuff. We let it all go, and then things started changing. So I truly believe it's possible. EFT is incredibly powerful. It works for everything, not just money blocks, but I think money blocks is an amazing place to start and to really see the power of EFT. And when you start seeing those amazing results in this area of your life, then you can start applying it to lots of other areas of your life. I've also used EFT to overcome emotional eating, past traumas, relationship issues, you name it, EFT can help, even with physical pain. It's one of those things, this course, it teaches you not just about the money blocks, but it's a tool that you can use in all sorts of areas of your life, and also with family, with friends, it works with children, it works with pets. I actually sat the other day when I was home in Scotland and tapped with my mum who has chronic arthritis and has really, really struggled with pain for a long time. She wouldn't let me do it with her over Skype, so I had to wait until I got home last week, and finally she let me sit down and tap with her, and she felt an amazing release and sort of ease in her body that she hadn't felt for a while. So if it can do that with physical pain, it can get rid of a few money blocks, and it really is incredibly powerful. And it's pretty easy and it's quite fun. And once you know it, and it's easy to apply everywhere else. So really excited to introduce the course, and I'm going to email out a link to the page if you do want to know more about it. There's all sorts of information on my page, and have a read and see if you think it's for you, and if it feels right, then let me know, sign up, and I will look forward to starting with you. It starts on the 15th of June, runs for 6 weeks, and it really is a time for just changing your story, changing the money blocks, overcoming all these negative emotions, and taking charge of your life and just saying, enough's enough, I'm fed up struggling, and I'm ready to take a stand and move on. So anyway, I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has them, and if not, then I will sign off and be in touch soon. Thank you very much. No. Okay, folks. Thank you so much, and I'll be in touch soon. Thanks, guys. Bye now.